Hi everybody. Well, welcome to the interview part where I will be interviewing myself for the Arabian Vampire Diaries. So let's get started. I got my questions right here, so let's get started. Thank you. Thank you very much. What is the story about? What it's about? What this is about? It's about a man who was bitten in the desert about 2,500 years ago, 2,600 years ago. Basically, after he was bitten, he lived for about 500 years, and then unexplainably, he fell asleep, or something happened to him, and he was out cold just like that, and he woke up recently in recent times, which is 2011, around 2011. 2012. As you go through, we end it. I end the story at 2012, at least this web series. But he wakes up in these times, and I find that it's really kind of. It started off as a comedy thing, so yeah. But it turned out a little bit more. So that's the story basically. I'm sorry, I went around in circles, but yeah, it's about a guy who got bitten. He's a vampire. He wakes up today and he doesn't find any vampires anywhere. He doesn't know what happened. He's on a quest to find out what happened to him and why he fell asleep. And then that manifested into, why am I the only one here? You know, why am I the only vampire that I know of? He's only been here for a couple of days and everything. And the fact that he woke up in what is now known as Arabia. I tried to stay as consistent with real timeline and real history as possible. So back then, my main character Namrud, which is a very, very old name, they had really interesting names back then, you know. And I find that there's a lot of culture in that region that a lot of people they look over because of things that happen in the media today, and what they believe is our past and everything. But that entire region it's old, and it's got a lot of really cool stories. So that's his story. His story is trying to connect with today and being at awe with everything. I think it was really cool because if you look at movies like Captain America was gone for 50, 60 years, from World War II until today, until modern time. That already, his mind is blown, right? So imagine if you were gone for 2,000 years. That's crazy. I think that would be crazy, and I tried to bring it out. So yeah, that's wow. I talked for this long, and the answer to the story: a guy got bitten, went to sleep, woke up, and now is trying to find himself. There it is. That's it. So where does this take place? Where does this take place? This takes place. In the story, it takes place, he wakes up in the eastern part of Arabia, which would be maybe around the eastern province, you know, something like that. So, of Saudi Arabia. And did I say that already? I probably did not, but I was thinking it. And he makes his way from the eastern province to the capital, which would be Riyadh, and then makes his way westwards and end up in places like Madain Saleh. Of course, he's not there, but it's like, it's the idea. All this is just an idea, you know, of the great history that's in the Arab region that a lot of people overlook and they don't think about. That's what I think it turned out to be. So it takes place mainly in Saudi Arabia. Nothing actually happens there, but it takes place there, and then he slowly moves west to where at the end of this 6 episodes, he ends up in the United States. Where was it filmed? It was filmed in my bedroom, right here actually. All of it was filmed here. Most of it was on my bed. Some of it was behind the green screen. Some was downstairs in the parking garage, my bathroom. There's only one episode where it takes place on Hollywood Boulevard during Halloween night. So, and there was a little bit of a fiasco because apparently 2 people got shot there. So I didn't get all the footage that I really, really wanted. So that's kind of why things kind of dragged out a little bit. And I was late on some of the stuff because, yeah, crazy people. But, and believe it or not, I didn't see any vampires. I saw no vampires. I saw a lot of zombies. No vampires. What inspired you to do this? What inspired me to do this? What inspired me to do this was, I think, it started off as a joke. Honest to goodness, it started off as a joke. Because Halloween was coming, and I met a friend of mine, Leah. She was not Princess Leia. Her name is Leah, really. But I met her at one of the conventions, like Comic-Con, and she had on fangs during one of the lunches that we had, and she had on fangs, and I thought that was the coolest thing because they looked real. She gave me the name of her fang maker. So he's a guy who in here in North Hollywood, Studio City, who he makes studio level teeth fangs, and they're hella expensive because they are pretty legit. And so I was like, oh, that's what I want to be for Halloween. I want to be a vampire. And I went and I started talking to him, and when I was talking to this guy who was making the fangs, he was like, so what are the fangs for? I felt really stupid just saying it's for, I felt kind of stupid just saying, oh, it's for Halloween, spending, that much money on teeth, for Halloween. And it just came out like, oh no, I'm doing a web series with vampires. And just as I said that, I'm like, oh wow. I really do want to make a web series with vampires. And this was like around September. And he took the mold of my teeth, and when I left, I came home and I started writing. And I was just like, what would the web series be about and everything? Being a graduate of Second City, I thought, oh, maybe I could do some sketches, like funny sketches of vampires and stuff. So I wrote the first episode, and as you see with the pilot, it's kind of like the play on words, like a whole new world, and then you hear the theme of a whole new world, Disney's a whole new world in the background, and then blah, blah, I need some blood, blah, blah, I need some blood. So really silly stuff like that. And after I wrote the first episode, I was just like, I kind of was like, that's pretty much all I had, like a 1 episode thing. Then Kamikaze happened, and that's another convention, and I went to the Kamikaze thing, and when I went to the Kamikaze thing, that's where I met Jennifer, and we started talking, and she saw the teeth in my mouth, and she was just like, oh my god, you have fangs. That's really cool. I said, yeah, I had this idea that I wanted to do. She does a lot of web stuff as well. And she was like, do it. Just follow a story, follow a story and do it. And Denise Vasquez was there as well, and she was just like, she's like, yeah, you should do it, do whatever it is you want. And when they said that, it was one of those reminders of why I'm here in Los Angeles, is just do it. Just do it. There's no reason not to do it. And I started writing, it got serious, and that's what happened. That's what inspired me, fangs. I just wanted a costume, and the costume slowly worked its way into a full-blown story like this. So Yeah, that's pretty much what inspired me. My friends and fangs. So, honestly, do you really have fangs? Nope. No real fangs. Just teeth. I mean, it's like a retainer. They're really cool. Do you believe in vampires? Do I believe in vampires? No, I don't believe in vampires, and that's probably gonna make a lot of people angry. That I said I don't believe in vampires. I just don't, unfortunately. I think their stories are fascinating and they're really cool. It's just like any other genre where Star Wars. Do I believe that Star Wars is real? So what is this? What is this not? Let's just say it is not. It is not a. It is not a web series about religion. That's what it is not. It is not about religion. It's not about anything more than just a story. I mention cities in Saudi Arabia. I don't talk about those cities. I make fun of some characters that I meet. I mean, my character is hungry, so yeah, he wants to eat. So what does he do? He starts giving himself a reason that if he's going to eat somebody, he has to have a good reason to eat them. And the good reason that he has is that they either indirectly insulted him, or that they're just dumb, or they say something that the character Namrud thinks is dumb. Namrud doesn't really mean anything. It's just an old name. Ghurab, on the other hand, the vampire that turned Namrud into a vampire, that means crow. So I found that as the reason why it's like, I only know a bird named Crow, but a person named Crow, that's stupid. Namrud just goes like, doesn't mean anything more than doesn't mean that any specific person is. I don't want anybody to read into these stories. They're just stories. Because that region has stories, has a lot of mythical and interesting, like, folks tales and wives tales. There are, but we don't discuss them, we don't explore them. They're not vampires or mummies or anything like that, but there are really fun and really scary, spooky stories that come out of that region that we never really explore, and nobody really explores. And I really don't know why that is, but it's just, that's what it is. So that's what this is not. This is not a statement or anything. They're just stories. Just like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, the Hulk. These are all stories. And we're all entertainers. And hopefully if, things go well and, I get good funding and stuff, I will actually do something with this. This also is not related to the Vampire Diaries at all. It's not. I just like the name. It just sounded nice and the graphics look good. It is not anything that's related to the Vampire Diaries, and I'll probably change it. But it's just that's the first thing that came to my mind. And coming from Second City, usually the first thing that comes out of your mind, justify it and yes and the hell out of it. And I yes-anded it, and this was the result. So, yeah. If this does become a series, or a mini-series, that's what it is not. But it's going to be fun, because there's an exploration of why in the Middle East. I've never heard of a vampire movie in the Middle East. I've never heard of vampires from the Middle East. And I find that intriguing. That's something I really find it intriguing, that there are no vampires in the Middle East. We don't have any stories. Why is that? There aren't any werewolf stories either. I find that really, you know, makes me think, why not? And because of the why not, it spawns the next story, which is, what if there's a reason why there aren't any stories? And because there aren't any stories, what does that mean? Why? And then that's what this story ended up being. But it's like, why aren't there anything? Why aren't there any vampires here in the Middle East? If there are no vampires here in the Middle East, what happened? And then he thinks he's the only one. But then he sees television shows, TV shows about vampires. It's like, wait a minute, those are my kind. Where are they? You know, just the fact that he sees a television, let alone watches a TV series, and he goes, oh my God, that's me. Where is this person? And it's all fake, you know? So it just, it's I don't know. It makes you start thinking about things and makes it entertaining, especially if you do it well. So that's what this is. Wow, I talk a lot, don't I? All right. Well, there you have it. That was interview with an Arabian vampire, and hope you guys enjoyed it. It was pretty fun.